Hi, and welcome to our video this week. This week we are going to be using the suite, The Beautiful Ordinary Life, that is featured in the new catalog. And one of the things that I like about this suite is that it contains a bundle that is the Bordered in Beauty. You will notice that this one does not have words, and so we incorporated some words from some different stamp sets, and I'll tell you what the ones are that I'm using in the 3 cards that we're making today. But the nice thing is you can use a stamp set you already own to get your words from if you don't want to purchase more. So on the Bordered in Beauty, you have these different images that you can actually stamp, and you'll see where we'll use some of these on our cards that we're doing today. But then what's nice is you also have all of these dies that are just really helpful in making really cool looking edges. You have these scallops, butterflies, these little arrows. There's one for hearts, all kinds of stuff, a little bracket, a couple of tags, and you'll see where we incorporate that. In the catalog, if you turn the page onto the next page, it shows the Beautiful Ordinary Life DSP plus the sticker sheet, and underneath that there is also a bundle that we are going to be using some elements from on that one as well. I'm primarily, I'm using the butterfly stamp on this one, but the rest of it is mainly using these dies. These are fantastic. There's one that looks like notebook paper. There's some small banners that are nice, a couple of tags, the butterfly outline, and you've got these hexagons, a heart, an and symbol, just all kinds of neat things. So we are going to be using both of these bundles today. I am also going to be using the black thread in the Baker's Twine Essentials and Memento black ink, or you can use the new black hybrid ink. I chose to use the Memento for this video because it dries a little quicker, but pretty soon I will probably switch to using the hybrid ink all the time. I really like it. I just know that it doesn't dry quite as quickly, and so for videos, I don't want to take a chance of smearing it. So let's go ahead and make our first card. This is actually one that I am using as a swap card too, but I just think this is really fun. So let me show you the different elements that you have on here, and let me get the measurements for this because I don't want to tell you incorrectly. All right, so if you place an order of $35 or more, I probably should have said this earlier. If you place an order of $35 or more, you can use this QR code, or you can go to inkycreationsbylinda.com and find one of the links on there that says shop with me. I will send you this card kit for free, and I will get these mailed. It'll probably be at least 10 days because we are getting ready to go out of town this weekend, and I will not do it. I will not send these out until I get back. So this first sheet of paper is 4 by 5 1/4, and this is just basic white cardstock. So we are just going to adhere this down, and I am just going to put a little bit of adhesive along the edges. On my white, I try not to do as much because I find that it really shows through on the front. So I usually try to make those a little less crazy. All right, so then you will have a basic black piece of cardstock, and this is, let me make sure I tell you correctly, a 1/2 inch by 4 inches wide. And we're just going to place this around, somewhere around the middle, maybe slightly below, but right in that area. By the way, this month we have a fantastic join special. If your wish list is longer than your budget, then you can, on my website, theinkycreationsbylinda.com, there is a page called Join My Team, and you are welcome to go there. It does give you the details, but for $99, you can select $125 in product, plus they will send you all of the new in-color ink pads, which is a great bonus. And I would love to have you as part of our team. There's no future obligation. So you can see details on my website if you're wanting to get more information on that. But if you have questions, you're always welcome to drop a comment below, and I'll be happy to get with you and help you out. But that is a special that is running through May 31st. Okay, so if you're wanting to take advantage of that, I wouldn't wait too much longer, because that way you can get all of those ink pads for free, which is really nice. If you don't want the ink pads, you can add on $35 extra. All right, then we're going to use this DSP. This is part of the Beautiful Ordinary Life Suite. We're going to be using a lot of the papers. I should have shown you the whole paper pack. I forgot to do that, so I will do that at the end. But this has some wonderful papers. The back side has these colorful, I call them X's. It's not really an X, but the different shapes. And then we're going to use the side with the black and white polka dots. So this piece is a 1 1/4 by 4 inches, and we're just going to adhere this to our basic white right underneath that black strip. All right. So some of our cards today have a lot of pieces, but they're just fun. I love these kind of cards that are, I don't know, I call them whimsical or whatever, because they're just not your ordinary measurements, and you just kind of make it work. It's really fun. All right, and then you will have, this is another one of the designer series papers. This one is Pool Party with white polka dots, and the back side has this white with these little V's on it. And so we're going to use the Pool Party side, and we are going to just kind of place this on the left side of our card front. Leave a smaller border on the left than you do on the right. And let's just throw some adhesive on the back of this. Let's see. And just kind of center it from top to bottom, and like I said, a little bit more to the left than to the right. And we'll put that down. All right, and then you will have a square that is 3 by 3 in the basic black, and then we are using the other side of that polka dot DSP, and this one is, let me get you the right measurements. You know what? If I didn't give you the measurements of the Pool Party, which I don't think I did, it's 4 3/4 inches long by 3 inches wide, because I don't think I mentioned that. And then this is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. So we are going to adhere this to the black. So let me put some adhesive back here. You know what, I'm going to make my screen just a little bigger so you can see the whole thing. There we go. I thought I did that before I started, and I just noticed that it wasn't quite as large as I needed it to, or wasn't to where it was showing everything in the frame that it needed to. All right, so then you'll have that. So now I am going to pop this up on dimensionals and put this right here on our card. So let me grab some of our large dimensionals. I hope you guys have had a great week. again, it's always hard to believe whenever we reach Friday. And it's the end of May. How crazy is that? Time just flies, doesn't it? All right, so there is no right or wrong way on this. It's pretty symmetrical. So just wherever, and there's not a right or wrong place to put this. I tried to, and this is why I put the Pool Party DSP a little more to the left, because I wanted this to kind of create some of these extra lines and stuff that you see here. So then you will have a circle that is a 2-inch circle, and this is in Flirty Flamingo, and we are going to use our stamp Just a Little Hello, and this comes from the Cutest Crew stamp set, and I will show you that stamp set real quick. But I just used the one right here that says Just a Little Hello. There's also a happy birthday, have the best day, so glad we're friends, and then these adorable little animals. One of these days I'm going to do a video with this. I just have not prepared that yet. So let's go ahead and stamp this on our circle. And I love circles because you don't have to worry about getting it straight because you just turn the circle. It's kind of nice. All right, so there we go. And then I am going to use a glue dot for the top of this and then a dimensional for the bottom so that it will line up height-wise with the one that we're putting it on, and we're going to put it like this. Okay, so let's put a couple of the small dimensionals down here. There we go. And then we'll put some glue dots at the top. Here we go. And then we are just going to place this. There's not any right or wrong place. So we're going to put it like that. And then in your kit, you will have a couple of die cut hearts. And so I cut these with basic black cardstock, and I used the Bee Builder punch because that made it really easy. So I did a big one and a little one. So we are going to put those on here, and I'm just going to use mini glue dots to adhere these because I find that way I don't end up with glue everywhere. Get a couple of those for here, and we'll put this one right here, and then grab this one. And I'm going to put it at the top of our Flirty Flamingo. And then I have an extra couple of hearts, not sure why. And so now we're going to just decorate this. So these are the dots that come in the Beautiful Ordinary Life suite. They're super cute. They match all the colors and the paper, but you've got your Pretty Peacock. Sorry, I had to think of the color. I wanted to say Lost Lagoon. Knew that wasn't right. Pool Party, your yellows, and your Flirty Flamingo. So super cute. And this is called Array of Dots. But really nice set of embellishments here. So I'm going to use some of the Pretty Peacock because they go really well with this Pool Party. And we are just going to stick a few of these on here. And then how about if we do a Pool Party one down here to kind of pull that in. And then we are going to use some of our black twine. And I'm just going to take 2 strands of this and tie a bow. And then we will put that at the bottom of our Flirty Flamingo circle. I really like this paper. When I first saw it, I told one of my good friends, I said, wow, this is like happy paper. And that's kind of what it reminds me of. It's just whimsical and happy and all of that good stuff. All right, I think my scissors are getting a little dull. I think it's because I've been using them so much on so many different things. All right, so let's grab another glue dot. And we are just going to put this down here. All right, so for the inside of our card, we are going, you will have a piece of white with a piece of the designer series paper. And this is 5 by 3 3/4, and this is 3 3/4 by 3/4 of an inch tall. So what we're going to do is just simply, we're not going to stamp anything on the inside. We're just going to kind of make this a note card that someone can use to send a note to tell someone hello. And I think I just got glue all over my finger. Let's see. Try and get this straight. Yep, a little bit, not too bad. All right. And let's adhere this to the bottom. Here we go. All right, so here is card number 1. How fun. Super cute, easy card. Not something that takes a lot of extra effort, but it's really cute. All right, for our second card, we are going to be doing one that's a little different than what I usually do. And with that, I want to show you something that's also in this suite that I used one of the pieces in this set, but I'm not sure. Let me see if I can pull this out so you can see it a little better. I'm not sure how well you can see this, but there are tons of these cutouts in here, and this is called the Black Floral Accents. I think that's what it's called. It's not on here. Here it is, right here. It is called the Floral Flight Accents. And so it is all of these black pieces. There are butterflies, flowers, leaves, hearts, just all kinds of fun stuff. I'm not sure how many of these you can really see, but we're going to use the butterfly today. But this is also a part of this suite, and it's just super cute. And so that's where this butterfly comes from, is that piece. So with that being said, let's make our card. Let me grab my measurements for this. So on this one, we are going, you will have a piece of petal pink that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and this is just a single piece, and this is going to be the base of your card. And then you will have a piece of designer series paper that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So we're going to adhere that down. All right, so then our next step is you will have a piece of petal pink, and this is, let me move these pieces. This is 6 by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 3 inches. Okay, so it's just 6 inches this way, 4 1/4 this way, and it's scored. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to adhere this onto the center of this card front. Okay, So let's go ahead and do that, because I don't know, we don't have to. I was making sure that there's nothing that I need to do before I glue it down, and I don't think there is. So I think we're safe. All right. How many times have you glued something down and then thought, oops, wasn't supposed to do that yet? I have done that a million times. And I know people in my card class periodically, when they come here, will do that. And it's just kind of like, oops, did it again. All right, so this time we're actually going to do the inside of this before we do the front. And I'll show you why in a minute. So on the inside, you will have a piece of designer series paper that looks like this. We're going to put that there. This piece is going to go up here, and then you will have a piece of white. Okay, so these pieces that are cut, these two right here, the measurements for these are, let me make sure I give this to you correctly, 4 by 2 3/4. Okay, so we're just going to adhere this down, and this is just pretty basic measurements, but it just makes it, kind of decorates up the inside just a little. And we probably could have done this piece before we adhered this, but that's okay. And then put this down. So this is all part of the designer series paper of the Beautiful Ordinary Life. It's just so cute, and I love the colors in it. They're just a lot of fun. And then we're going to use the polka dot side to show at the top. There we go. All right, before we adhere this piece down, this basic white is 3 by 2. It's pretty small. We're just going to put it right here. We're going to stamp on this. So let me grab a piece of my scratch paper, because I want to move that out of the way. I want to make sure that I don't wind up with ink everywhere. All right, so I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo ink, and all I'm going to do, this is one of the borders that are in that Bordered Beauty, but it's just little scallops, and it's just super cute. And we're not going to put any words. We're just going to do this and just kind of put like a little banner across the edge. And this is going to end up being, you'll see in a minute, a birthday card. All right. So then, now that we have that, we can go ahead and adhere this to the inside right here. Okay, so let's put some adhesive back here, and then we will decorate the front. All right. And you're just going to adhere this to the center of the inside of this, just trying to get an even border all the way around. And I will usually just eyeball this. You could probably set it on a grid and make it exact, but I'm fine with just eyeballing it. All right, you will have another piece of designer series paper. This one is with the stripes. And on this one, it's also 4 by 2 3/4. It is going to go right here. But before we do that, we're going to use some of our black twine, and we are going to actually wind that around here. So to get this started, I like to use a little bit of my seal and just put that here just to kind of hold it in place. And then we'll come back with our double-sided tape in a minute. Yeah, that's fine. We'll do it this way. I was trying to decide if I should put the other piece on first, but I think we'll be fine doing it this way. All right, so I'm just going to take this and then just kind of press it back here. And then I am just going, and you don't want to do it too tight, but yet You want to do it to where it's not super loose, if that makes sense. And just press that down. And then let's give this a good trim. Whoops. My twine is sticking to my fingers. I think I got some of that seal on my hand. All right, so before I actually put this down on the card, I want to secure these ends. So I'm going to use a piece of my double-sided tape. And it doesn't have to be a big piece. Just take a piece and you just want to kind of sandwich that in to make sure those ends don't come up. Just kind of helps make sure that nothing comes apart once you get your card together. All right, so then before we adhere this to the front, well, actually we can go ahead and do that. So now we're just going to adhere this right to here. I just wanted to make sure I got that twine on before I did that. So let's take a little bit of adhesive, and you can use seal, you can use liquid glue, whatever is your favorite adhesive. I tend to use the glue because I feel like it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. If it's not exactly where I want it, I can usually move it around for a couple seconds before it starts really just sticking and you can't move it. All right, so there we go. So that is like that. All right, you will have a basic white label that is from the Nested Essentials, and we are going to use Flirty Flamingo ink, and we are going to stamp Happy Birthday on this. And this comes from the Scallop Blooms stamp set. And so you could also do thank you, but we have happy birthday, and there are lots of really good sayings on this particular set. So that's what we're using for this. So let's stamp this. And I'm going to kind of put this just as close to the top as I can, and you'll see why in a second. But I love the font on this. I just think it's super fun. All right, and before I put my stamp pad up, we are also going to use the Bordered Beauty, and there is a set of butterflies that goes across, and we're going to stamp that in Flirty Flamingo ink. And just go straight across like that. And the nice thing is, we can die cut this out. I thought I die cut one of these last night, but I am not seeing it. So we may be using our dies. Actually, I may just show you the front of the other card because I don't even have the dies here. I wonder what I did with this, because I know I had it earlier. So we are going to color these in with blends and then finish assembling the top of our card. So on this particular card, we are going to use Lemon Lolly, and we're going to use the dark one of that. We're going to use Pool Party and Light Peach Pie. So let me get those out. Here we go. And Pool Party. All right, and then we are going to color in our butterflies. I wonder what I did with that. I know I had that here. Well, I am just on my B game today, I guess. So, make sure I didn't put it in here. I did not. All right. So I'm not sure what happened to that piece because I cut one out yesterday so I could have it for this video, but that's okay. You can see how we color it, and then yours will be ready for you to die cut whenever you get it. So I'm going to use my Pool Party blend, and I am going to just color this in. One of the things, I really like the way these colors all kind of mesh together. They're just really fun and make your cards really pretty. All right, and then we'll do peach pie on the next one. Kind of move that. I'm only going to use the dark one, it looks like. So then we're going to use peach pie on this one. And we will use the lemon lolly. Oh, I just found my butterflies. Here we go. We will color this one that's already die cut out for you so you can see me actually put it together. So this one's going to be lemon lolly. I was like, I know that I cut one of these out last night. So let's do this. You know, it's funny because I wouldn't have thought of putting these colors together, but when I started playing around with this and experimenting, I just really liked the way all this kind of fell together. So as you can tell, I am going over the Flirty Flamingo lines here. You do not have to like try to not go over those lines because it really doesn't seem to make a huge difference. All right, and then we will just repeat that same pattern. So it's going to be pool party, peach pie, and then lemon lolly. And I'm trying to stay in the lines and not bump the camera. There we go. Let's do the peach pie again. And I'm using the blunt edge of my marker. I really like the way the peach pie and the Flirty Flamingo go together. They just look really nice. There we go. And then here is our lemon lolly. I think this paper just puts me in a good mood. It's something that is really fun to play with. All right, I am so glad I found this piece because it will make a difference here in a minute. All right, so what I'm going to do is use dimensionals on this and just put this on our card front. So let's throw a few of these back here. I feel like we should have some music in the background. All right, and then I am just going to put this on our card front about right here. All right, and then we are going to take this and we are going to put this along the bottom right here. So I'm going to put a dimensional on the edge here and one over here, and then maybe a couple of glue dots in the middle so that we can make sure that everything stays together and the heights are pretty much the same. So I'm using the smaller dimensionals on this. And then let's grab a couple of glue dots and kind of put those in the middle. I'm so glad I found these butterflies because I would have been really disappointed if I couldn't have completed making the card, because I don't know where my dies are. I feel like things are just scattered right now. We've been trying to get ready to go out of town. We are so excited. We are about to go on the incentive trip, which is a huge thank you to all of you that have supported me, and I really appreciate that. So we leave this weekend, and then the ship leaves on Monday, so we are super excited. All right, and so then I'm going to put glue dots on this. I'll be honest, I am only going to put the glue dots kind of on the middle to this side, and I'm not going to worry about anything on that side because it'll stay adhered to that because of it being adhered over here. Okay, so let's put 2 glue dots on this. And so I like to kind of twirl these with my finger to make them a little tinier. And then that way they still stay secure, but they don't stick out as much on your die cut that you have. And so you can still see it a little bit, but it's not quite as bad as it could be. All right, so then we're going to put that like that. Okay, and then now we are going to take 2 strands of our black twine and tie a bow with this. If I can get this to, there we go. Sometimes I find that this starts to twirl on me. And whenever I do, I usually have to kind of undo it for a second. All right, there we go. And I am going to use a glue dot. We use a lot of glue dots. Have you noticed that? How many rolls do you go through whenever you're crafting? I don't find that I go through them a ton, but sometimes I do, depending on what I'm working on. All right. And so we are going to take this, and I'm just going to put this up here where this kind of meets together and just kind of pull that down. Whoops, here we go. There we go. And then let's use our embellishments, and let's go ahead and put a few of these on here. I'm going to use one of the yellow ones, the lemon lolly, and put that on the butterfly. There we go. And then let's put one of the flirty flamingo ones kind of up here. And then we'll put one of the pool party ones kind of maybe over here to the side. Okay. And obviously you can put as many or as few as you would like. But this is our second card. How fun is this? And then you open it up and there's a place for you to write a message. All right, so now let's do our final card. And this one, let me grab the pieces for you. Put this one over here. You know, some days I just feel like I'm not near as organized as I would like to be. And it's always a good goal, but it just doesn't always happen. Do you ever have days like that? I have days like that a lot, it seems like, especially here recently. All right, so for this one, we are going to have a white card base. And let me grab my measurements. And so in that, this is another piece that has another card that has a lot of pieces, but it's fun. All right, so you will have a piece of pool party, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. So let's adhere this onto here. I really like this card. I think this is fun. And this is one where we really incorporate a lot of those extra dies from that extra set that I said was on the next page of the catalog. But it's just really fun. So, all right. So we have this. And then you will have a piece of designer series paper that looks like this, and this is 5 by 3 3/4. So let's put some adhesive on the back of it and put that in the center of our pool party. Whoops. See, that's what I was talking about with the glue. And it gives you a little bit of a second just to kind of get it in place so it doesn't mess up on you. All right, and then you will have a piece of the polka dot DSP. Can you tell I like polka dots? And this is 2 1/4 by 4 inches. And we are just going to kind of put this over to the left side of our paper. So let's do that. And kind of put this over here. There we go. Make sure it's straight. All right. And then you will have this really fun die cut piece in your kit. It is Pool Party, and it's die cut with that notebook die cut that I mentioned earlier. And we are going to use dimensionals and put this like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We are going to do some stamping in a minute, I promise. And we're going to use another one of the stamps from the Bordered Beauty stamp set that the butterflies came from. All right, so then we are just going to just kind of put this in the center. But obviously, as you can tell from looking at this, there's a edge here, but then, so it's in the center as far as up and down, but left to right, it's a little more to the right side, okay? All right, so you will have a tag that is in your kit that is white, and we are going to use a piece of scratch paper, and let me grab my scratch paper. And we are going to stamp with the border. There is a border stamp that is polka dots, and we are going to stamp with crushed curry just one strip to the left side of this tag. And when I say left, that's if you hold it portrait. Okay, so you'll see what I mean in just a minute. So let's grab our crushed curry ink and ink that up, and then the key is getting this straight and not hitting the camera. Hopefully we did that. It's not too bad. All right, and then we're going to put this up so I don't stick my finger in it. And so now this is what you have, which is kind of fun. All right, so you will have this black die cut bracket that is super cute, and we are going to use glue dots and adhere this to this tag, okay? And so we are just going to put it something like that. So I'm going to put a couple of glue dots on the back of here. So let's put one right there, and then we'll put one on the top and one on the bottom. One there, and then one at the top of this. All right, and then what you want to do is we are going to make this to where the bracket goes in this direction, and we want the top to kind of line up with the top of the tag, and then try to get it straight. And it's not going to go all the way to the bottom, which will be fine because we're going to cover up the bottom part with, excuse me, our other tag. Let me grab a drink. All right. So now what we're going to do, you will also have this Flirty Flamingo tag in your kit, and we are going to stamp thank you on this. And this comes from the Lovely Arrangements stamp set, and we're going to use thank you, but you could use hello friend, you could use love you, just a note, happy birthday. So many fun stamps in this set. All right, so let's grab our thank you stamp, and I am just going to use our black ink, and we are going to stamp this, and we'll just put it right in the center of this tag. And you know what, while we're at it, we'll go ahead and we're going to stamp our butterfly. And so this comes from that extra stamp set that I mentioned earlier. Here we go. How cute is that butterfly? It's just really nice and detailed. You could color this. You could also use the shimmer brushes on this. That would be super pretty. And the nice thing is, with the magic of TV, it's already die cut for us. All right. So now we're going to put this final piece together. All right. So what you're going to do is, the first thing is you're going to take this die cut tag. This comes from this extra set that I spoke of earlier. Let me grab the name of it so I don't tell you something incorrect. But this is the one that is the Extraordinary Life dies, and it's this one right here, okay? So you'll see it right here. But I love this die. I think it's so cute with these little cutouts on the left side. So we are going to use that, and we are just going to glue this flat to where it kind of sticks out like that a little bit to the left. Okay, so I'm just going to put some adhesive back here. And by the way, it's not an exact case, but I was inspired to make this card off of one that I saw that Erica Serwin did. And I just thought it was so cute. And I love the play on colors. It's just really fun. All right, so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to adhere this tag down onto this and put this about right here, and we're just going to adhere this flat. Okay, so let's put some adhesive back here. And we will put this one about right there. Okay. All right. And so then we are going to take our thank you. And this is why I said earlier that it's okay if it doesn't go all the way to the bottom, because we're going to cover up a lot of it. So we are going to use dimensionals, and we are going to put this on our tag right here. So let's grab some dimensionals and put on the back of here. And try to put the word right side up, because, you know, that would probably not be the best thing if we put it upside down. Actually, I'm going to move it over just a tad so I show off that polka dot. Okay, and then last but not least, I'm going to put a couple of glue dots on here, and we're going to put our butterfly right there. Okay, so let's grab some glue dots and put on here. So I'm just going to put 2. And then we are just going to slide this down underneath here, and I don't want to cover up too much of his wing, but just kind of put it like that. All right. So we will, this time we're only going to use a single strand of our twine, of our black twine again, and tie a bow with that. And then put this on the pool party little notebook cutout. So let's trim this, the edges of this. And let me grab a glue dot. And then we are just going to put this right up here in the upper left corner of this and kind of let those ends dangle. And then let's use our really fun embellishments and put a little bit of bling on here. So let's use one of the medium size Pretty Peacock and put right there. And then let's use a couple more of these. Let's put some down here. I really, no, we'll use the medium size. I really love the colors of this. And then let's use some Flirty Flamingo toward the top, just because we can, and it's fun. So, and then we'll put one right there. Okay. So, and then I did not do anything on the inside. Since this was a thank you card, I just left the inside of this blank. Obviously, you could stamp another butterfly back here if you wanted to, or anything else, but I just thought that this would be kind of fun. All right, so these are our 3 cards. Let me get these out for you. And if you would like a card kit to make these 3 cards, you can place an order of $35 or more using this QR code, or you can go to my website and use the Shop With Me link and get that. But I will send you a card kit to make these 3 cards. Like I said, we will be out of town until, I believe, June 9th. And so once we return, I will get these mailed out, but it will be that week before these get mailed. So, if you love this paper and this set, let me show you the other pieces that are in here. Mine is pretty chopped up at this point, but we've got this with the polka dots that you've seen. The pool party, it also has some yellow that looks like little honeycombs. It's super cute. You've got this pattern paper, which is beautiful. And then we use this one on the inside of our birthday card there. And I think we used a lot of these, but it's just so pretty. If you are interested in my scrapbook club, I use this paper this month on that, and you can get information on that at inkycreationsbylinda.com, and you will see a page that is for my scrapbook club. You do not have to join the club. You can buy the kits individually, and there is a link on that page to do that. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend and a fantastic week. And I will have a special next Friday. So be sure to watch your email. And if you are not on my email list, if you will go to inkycreationsbylinda.com, then you can sign up for my email list and you can see what my ordering special is next week. All right. Have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.